News and Dave.
This is my state, this is my team. You know what that means. This is for the black and blue that I bleed. This is for the chance to bring home that ring. But everybody gonna doubt this. So far there ain't been another way around it. We bring heat to the game each week. They just say we ain't got what it takes, we ain't bout it. Well, y'all can just keep saying that we ain't gon' make it, but at the end of the day this'll be the Panthers nation. You know this ain't a game to us major players at every angle that you can think of. That's why you hate us. Get out the way of greatness. You can look at our faces and see the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to create this. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but you can save it. Cause even on the darkest of days, you know we're always gonna find a way to tell them what we gon' do, we gotta
Alright, what's good, people? What's good? Dave, what's good? Back in Rhode Island, what's poppin', bro?
Back in New England, man.
How was the weekend?
Oh, I had a phenomenal week because I was down south the whole week. Went to go visit my parents. Went to alumni weekend. I learned a lot about giving back to your school and met up with some buddies and had a lot of alcoholic beverages while I was there and had a 4-hour delay at my flight this morning.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
They gave me, and what did I get for my 4-hour delay? A $10 food voucher, which barely got me a burger, and a $75 voucher for Frontier Airlines, which should be enough to give me another round trip.
Good old Frontier. Hey man, you kind of asked for that one, Dave.
Listen, round trip with $100. Can't be mad at that.
You kind of asked for that one, my G. But it was dope. Busy weekend for myself. I had to chaperone a fifth grade field trip to Carowin, so that was wild. And it rained, so it was crazy. And then my girls had a recital this weekend, dance recital. So I'm glad that's over with. So it was a busy weekend, but it's dope. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good, Dave. So you ready to jump into this episode, Dave? Because we got a special guest in the building, Dave. We got a special guest in the building. From the 4-man rush. Will, you on the line, bro? Hello? Yeah, what's good, bro? You good?
Well,
what's up,
man?
Well? What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Nah, man, thank you for coming on. You put out some excellent content. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people? Hopefully we can get you a couple more subscribers just for coming on board. So go ahead and introduce yourself. You got a couple fans already in the building. They've been looking forward to this. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name Will Harris. I got the YouTube page 4-Man Rush up and running now. That's pretty much just me and a group of friends. We started this last year to try to cover the Panthers, do film breakdowns and things like that. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and check us out on YouTube, you can go ahead and subscribe and check out some of our content. You know, we try to do weekly film breakdowns. Got some stuff up on the draft pick, which I'm excited about. Yeah, and I've just been a Panther fan my whole life, since team first started. I'm originally from up that area, so I'm excited to be here and talk some more Panthers football tonight.
Nice. I appreciate the time. I know I hit you up last week and you jumped on, so I appreciated the short notice and all that. So let's go ahead and jump into this though, because it's been a big topic of discussion. We kind of talked about it last week, and I kind of wanted to hold off and kind of really talk about it because we don't really do much X's and O's over here. I mean, we talk about it, but we don't really like deep dive into it like you do. So I kind of want to get your perspective, because what happens is a lot of people get up on this chat and they talk a lot of things. They'll say, well, why don't we do this and why don't we do that? And this dude is nice. Why don't we pick this guy up? And then things don't quite work out the way they should, and then we are wondering why. So like I want to kind of jump into it a little bit deeper. And I took some you won't be able to see it unless you're watching the stream, but I took some screenshots of your video, and I just wanted to dive into a couple things. But the biggest question I have for you, and this is just an opinion question, is why now? Why are the Panthers deciding to go to a hybrid defense at this point? What is the cause for this change?
Well, if you look at the last 3 seasons, team just hasn't looked like a Ron Rivera defense. 2016, you had the Super Bowl hangover, a lot of injuries, new pieces in the secondary. They just weren't themselves. 2017, they got off to a good start, first few games of the season when they played some weak offenses. But as they started to play better teams, you saw the defense get exposed a little bit again. And I think they had one of the worst units during the second half of the season. And as we saw last year, just the defense was unrecognizable. So I think, you look back at these last 3 years and you want to know what happened. What happened to that disruptive 2013 defense with the Greg Hardy and, the disruptive front seven, or the 2015 defense, which was forcing, 40 turnovers or so. And one thing that stood out to me is in 2017, the Panthers ran a base 4-3 defense 50% of the time. And that ranked 3rd in the entire NFL. So that tells me they're one of the few teams in the league that were staying in the base 4-3. And I think the reason for that was you drafted Shaq Thompson, so you had to get him on the field. But the problem with the 4-3 scheme, you're trying to defend these fast spread offenses. So you got Shaq Thompson matched up against a slot receiver, for example. So teams were able to expose that over and over again. Or you had slower, older safeties trying to cover these quicker spread offenses. So clearly what Ron was doing just wasn't working. You have, slower personnel on the field with the 4-3 defense. You got 4 down linemen. The DNs are more built to stuff the run, guys like Charles Johnson, but they're not getting effective pressure on the quarterback. You got 3 linebackers on the field, good job in run support, but they can't cover. So you're exposed to more mismatches that way. So I think what he's trying to do is just add more speed and athleticism on the field. And you can kind of see that with the way they started drafting last year. It started with Dante Jackson, who's not a typical Panthers corner. When you think Ron Rivera cornerback, you're thinking the big guys, Bradbury, Worley, Josh Norman. So they went out of their comfort zone and drafted more of a speed cornerback. They drafted Rashawn Golden, who supposedly can match up with backs and tight ends at the safety position. And then they drafted Haynes, a 230-pound edge guy who runs about a 4.5, 4.6 40. So you got speed rushers. So you start to see the transition happening then. Mm-hmm. And then you come to this offseason, you see Brian Burns, Christian Miller, and Bruce Irvin coming on board. So I think he finally has the personnel to really do what he wants and develop more of this hybrid style to better defend these passing offense.
Yeah, man, and you touched on a great point in reference to the history, because we definitely lack the ability to get to the quarterback last year. I mean, we only had 35 sacks. I mean, at the peak back, and you mentioned it, back in 2013, we had 60 sacks, and that's when CJ and Greg Hardy were doing their thing. We had 2 double-digit sacks, ends getting sacks, and it's an obvious statement, but our defense is best when we have 2 ends or two guys that can get double-digit sacks. I mean, it's an obvious statement, but people, especially in our chat, they're so adamant on us, having a very good back end, a very good secondary, and I challenge people. Even in 2013, back when we had 60 sacks, I mean, I challenge you to tell me who the members of the secondary were back in 2013, because in my opinion, it doesn't really matter what we're doing in the back end. As long as we're getting to the quarterback and putting pressure on the quarterback, everything else will work itself out. And that's kind of what, I don't know what your opinion on that is, because this is a constant debate that we have in this chat. Is that people want us to go get a free safety. They're concerned about us not having a free safety, and we're concerned. I'm saying we, as in members of this group, is that they're concerned that that we don't have a free safety, and we're going to put Gardner back there. So first question is, what is your opinion on the free safety position, and does it really matter?
By the way,
Okay, I think
it was
people,
Drayton Florence and Melvin White that were the starting corners in 2013.
Yeah.
Josh Norman got benched.
Exactly.
Yeah, you remember in 15 you had Roman Harper and Kurt Coleman back there, but I think what you got to realize, the Panthers are the most zone-heavy team in the NFL. In 2017, they led the league in zone defense. I think it was over 70% of the time they ran a zone scheme. And I think as you go year before that, you'll see something similar. And I think even last year it was primarily a zone defensive scheme. So with the zone-heavy teams like the Panthers, you prioritize pass rush because the zone defense doesn't work if you're not applying pressure. You want to apply pressure, confuse the quarterback, and try to force turnovers that way. So with such a heavy emphasis on a zone scheme, you're not going to see that heavy investment in the secondary. That's where you can go cheap because you're not asking the safety to cover the entire field. He's just covering a small piece of the field and wherever his zone assignment is. So I think that's the biggest reason why you see the primary focus on the defensive line and linebackers as opposed to the secondary. If you look at the salary cap breakdown, which I did just check the other day, Panthers have the most expensive defensive line in the entire league. But as far as secondary, they're 30th in spending on defensive backs. So it's clear that they prioritize pass rush over secondary, and that's primarily because it's a zone-based scheme that Ron Rivera likes to run. As far as Golden, I think what people have to realize is we have a new DB coach, the guy from Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look how good their secondary was playing. I mean, I'm not saying he's Jalen Ramsey or anything,
yeah, I was
but
about to say.
They had one of the better performing secondaries in the league. So I don't underestimate the impact of coaching. I think
Exactly.
Terry Fool coming from the Jaguars will make a huge difference on not only Golden but Bradbury, Dante, and all these guys. So I say give them a chance. It's May, so we still got 2, 3, 4 more months to make moves before we play the Rams week 1.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't work out in camp, you can always go to the free agent market and find somebody like Trey Boston.
Which is what we've been saying. That's something we've been saying every week since the draft. Is we've been preaching, hey, we give it time. You've got time. Especially a guy like, he's not going to necessarily know our system because the scheme is going to change. It's a slight tad, but Trey or even an aging Eric Berry could be solid. But we don't need to hit the panic button right now. So let's see what Golden has. Give him some time. And see what he can do. Give him a shot. Again, when we drafted Golden, they knew he was a project. So it wasn't like we're surprised by the time it's taken for him to develop. So we all need to take a chill pill on Golden. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and the problem with his film from last year is that's his first year playing free safety. He was a nickel in college.
Exactly.
So let's see what this year 1 to year 2 improvement looks like before we write him off.
I 1,000% agree.
It's like everybody wanted us to take a safety in the 3rd round, and I'm like, we did that last year. We gotta let the guy develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult because we had so many guys contribute early last year, and you kind of wanted to see him take that step. He just didn't get the opportunity like the other ones did. And I say that too. It's all about opportunity for the young guys. They've got to have the opportunity. I know he got out there a little bit, but to compare him to what DJ got and what Ian Thomas and then Dante Jackson being able to start due to Cockrell's injury off the rip, I mean they got to play early, and that's key. It's key when you got a guy sitting back there waiting. It's going to take a little time for him to develop. So I say let's just give him some time. And we'll see what happens with Golden.
Yeah, if you watch the Week 17 game, he played pretty well. I mean, he was more so as a box safety. He's very good in run support, good tackler. In the Giants game, if you watch that, he came up, made a play, and tackled Saquon Barkley one-on-one. So, I mean, if I told somebody, if you can go one-on-one and get Saquon Barkley down with no help, you're different. You can play.
Right. All right, so I got you. I got a screenshot from your video up, and this is your this is kind of how you summarized the multiple front hybrid defense when you talked about the unpredictable pass pressure, confusing the pass protection schemes and create matchups. I just want you. Can you just kind of go into those points a little bit deeper? You may not have it up, but I can give you the points if you want to. But I just want to
Yeah.
because I just want to briefly talk about those because people need to understand that it's a multiple front. I think people are jumping off out the window saying that we're going to be strictly 3-4. And people need to understand that there's some flexibility within those fronts. So if you could just jump into that a little bit and talk to the people about the hybrid front.
Yeah, I mean, first I'll just use some other teams as examples. If you watch like the Patriots or the Bears, they'll line up with 4 guys with hands in the dirt at times. You know, you see Khalil Mack play with his hand in the dirt and stand up off the edge. So with the hybrid defense, it's not going to be purely a 3-4. They're going to be multiple and give you different fronts. So what the ultimate goal is here, you want to be able to, when the offense comes up to the line of scrimmage, they're not going to know who's blitzing, who's rushing, and who's dropping in the coverage. So by using a 3-man front, you know, you have more flexibility in doing that. You know, your edge guy, he's not a Charles Johnson. That's just, you know, he's going to rush, or you know he's going to do this or that. You know, Brian Burns, you're putting a more athletic guy on the field. He can either rush the passer or he can drop into the coverage and cover flats. So that's what you're trying to do there. And then within each front, you know, there's just various things you can do. You can move your ends in closer to better defend against the run. You know, like if you put them on the 3 technique outside of the guard, or you can move them out wide on pass rush downs. I mean, you can show A-gap blitzes with your linebackers, drop them into coverage. Mario Addison does that a lot. So now with Burns, you're getting a superior athlete type guy, and even Christian Miller, who I really like, that can do those kinds of things. So that's the thing. You just want to be unpredictable. You know, you find ways to generate pass pressure. You know, just lining up 4 guys and trying to get after the quarterback. You know, it's hard to do now. So I think now he just wants to find different ways to generate pressure and be more unpredictable in that aspect.
Yeah, and I agree with that because now, you know, Rivera, he doesn't have to line up a 6 or 7 man pass rush just to get to the quarterback. Being unpredictable, just sending dudes up, you know, with the fake blitz, you can confuse the quarterback, and you did an excellent job breaking that down, especially on the Saints play where I forgot, but go back and look at the video, y'all. But I forgot the exact play, but it was a sack on Breeze that we got, or almost a sack, where we were able to
But it
confuse.
ended up being a pass breakup.
We rushed him, and he rushed the throw. But it was a great example about how he got confused and he broke it down. It was great. But here's another question. All right, so I've got the first. This was against the Eagles, right?
Right.
And this is the first screenshot you did the 505. And so here's my question. Now with this new personnel, who are you seeing go where? Obviously we know Poe is the nose tackle. Who do you envision playing the ends in this scenario?
Who do you think it is, man?
Who do I think it is? I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see. I think Short.
I think it's Addison and KK.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Short and KK. And then I was gonna say, and one of the things I noticed in your videos, and you can correct me if this is this is an inaccurate statement, but why the hell do we have Captain Munderland out there as a he's constantly blitzing, or I don't know if he's playing the actual outside linebacker in this. I know it's a hybrid thing we got going, but I see why. And if we put a Burns and Miller there, obviously if those two dudes have the ability to drop back in coverage and play a zone, it really could confuse the guy. But if we know, you got a guy like Captain Munderland coming off the edge, or we're not that intimidated by Cap, even though he got a few sacks. I think you just put a better pass rusher out there with Burns and Miller potentially.
Yeah, I think that was a challenge. He didn't have the personnel to do what he wanted to do. But as far as the defensive ends, I think that's still kind of a need. I know Marty Herney in an interview on the radio did say that 5 technique defensive end is an area where they want to attack in free agency because they need some more depth in that rotation. I think when you think of first let's talk about what the 5 tech needs to be. It's kind of a hybrid of a 4-3 defensive end. You know, a guy that can set the edge and rush the passer. And a 3 technique, you know, that's big and strong enough to go up against guards and tackles. So just to kind of loosely use comparisons, J.J. Watt is a 5 technique and a 3-4, and Aaron Donald is as well. So, you know, they have that skill set that they can play both of those positions. So I think on our team now, I think you can see Kawan Short at that position. Mario Addison can do it, although he's a little undersized.
Right.
Brian Cox will be in that depth piece as a rotational player, and possibly Vernon Butler will be a guy that can maybe play that with Kyle Love and Dontari Pope rotating at that nose tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know a guy to keep an eye out for is Alan Bailey, the Chiefs defensive end. We had interviewed him
for sure
back in April. So I think maybe after June 1st when that Matt Khalil money frees up, that might be a guy we bring in to add depth at that 5 tech. So you got KK, Bailey, and Poe. That's a pretty solid front you'll have there.
Yeah, we talked about Bailey on this on back when we interviewed him. So I think it definitely be interesting, and I agree. Now I guess where do you think or do you think F.A. Obata is an odd man out?
That's a good question. I mean, we got Cox, Obata, and Haynes will probably be battling for some roster spots. I think what they have going for them, particularly Cox and Obata, is that they can play with their hand in the dirt and be a stand-up edge. So since we lack depth at the 3-4 ends, the 5 techniques, I think Cox and Obata might be able to find their way on the roster come August. And I think at the edge, the pure edge guys, you'll see Haynes, Irvin, Mario a little bit, and then the 2 draftees, Miller and Burns.
Right.
But when you look at the 53, though, you're going to need a lot more D linemen in that rotation now. So I think that's a good and a bad thing because I think more guys have a chance to make the roster and contribute. But with the amount of guys we do have on the roster, it'll be competitive. So we may have to cut some good guys.
Yep. That's a very and just looking at this picture as well. We also had Thomas Davis. We had along with Captain Merlin, Thomas Davis was rushing the passer too. So it'd be ideal if we can get those rookies in early, or at least Haynes or somebody out there that can cover as well. Because I think that's key. I think you said that in your video that the guys need to be able to cover off the edge as well. So it's important that that those guys be able to do both. And with Burns' athleticism, I think he definitely fits the bill for it, and he has that ability to do it. But yeah, I'm just hoping. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I'm thinking about like who's going to play inside linebacker in this scheme other than Luke.
Yeah, you got Luke, Shaq. Luke and Shaq will be the starters at those inside linebackers.
That's what I was thinking too.
But 2 guys last year.
Carter. Jermaine Carter.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it from the Shaq perspective because we know that Shaq probably won't be there after this year too. Because I mean, he got the 5th-year option, but I don't know if he's the long-term solution. So I'm wondering if they're really trying to slide Carter in that role so Carter can get more time.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, Shaq's definitely on a contract year, so I mean, are we going to see the best of him this season?
So,
I mean, in my opinion, remember I talked about earlier about they're one of the few teams that still play 4-3. So I think with Shaq, you got him trying to cover slot receivers, and it's just he's just put in a position to lose. So I think with his first year of being a pure linebacker and strictly sticking to linebacker as opposed to that nickel corner position they had him playing, I think, it's every reason for him to succeed this year.
So just to elaborate on that, you think he fits better as an inside linebacker in this potential this hybrid front, and I guess he can man those responsibilities better, a little bit better, because I know in the he's gonna have to play the run. I guess my concerns, about the having this 3-4 potential is defending the run. I mean, do you think our line? I know Luke can, but are we concerned that Shaq can defend the run? Like, can he man up
Yeah,
and
I
fill
mean
those gaps?
he's inconsistent. I mean, I think he just needs to do a better job of wrapping up and tackling. I mean, he's good playing sideline to sideline and downhill, as opposed to in coverage, in my opinion. I mean, he struggles with covering in space, which was ironic because I think that's why we drafted him in the first place.
Right, exactly.
But I think as a linebacker playing downhill, he'll be more effective. But keep in mind, with the hybrid front, you can shift into a 4-3 and put 4 guys with their hands in the dirt on rundowns. So that's one of the benefits of being versatile like that. If it's an obvious rundown, like 1st and 10, maybe you slide in and run a 4-man front.
That's a good point.
I don't think we'll see the end of the 4-3. I mean, I think on obvious rundowns, you'll probably see that traditional base front.
That's a good point. Good point about sliding out of it. Dave, you got any questions? I guess the next the follow up question I would have would be is who benefits the most, other than the rookies, obviously. Who benefits the most from this scheme change, if that's what you want to call it?
I got easy answer for that.
That's a good question. I'd say Ron Rivera, because I think
other than Ron, I agree. I agree. I agree with Ron. That's a great answer. But player. Like, is there a player specifically that you think benefits from the change?
Poe.
I'd say Mario Addison. He's more of a smaller speed rusher. I think this is a more fit for him. I think the 3 guys we drafted, Marquise Haynes, Burns, and Miller, obviously. Dontari Poe, if you remember his Pro Bowl year in Kansas City, he was a 3-4 nose tackle. And then when he went to Atlanta and played more of the 3 technique in the 4-3 scheme, he kind of fell off a little bit, even last year with us. So I think this is a more natural position for him. So I think Kawan Short, I think he can play anywhere. So I don't think this will bother him that much. I mean, I'm hoping, maybe Vernon Butler finds a fit in this defense and we can get something out of that pick in his last year. But I'm not holding my breath there. Luke, that'll be interesting. I think what they always say with the 3-4 is you have less bodies protecting Luke in the run. Like
exactly.
So we'll see how he adjusts to it.
Because
his primary strength is as a coverage linebacker, but when he was at his best against the run, he had those big guys, Starr and KK, in front of him eating up blocks.
Yep, we talked about heavy.
Off him, so it'll be interesting how this affects him.
We talked about that heavily last year. Yeah, we talked about that heavily last year about how Poe. We felt like Poe in the 4-3 wasn't kind of living up to what we thought we were going to get, and how Luke wasn't allowed to roam free back there because the blockers were getting to the second level and he was getting taken out. So I'm concerned, and I guess that leads to my next question. I mean, you kind of touched on it. Is who's gonna suffer from this change? If we kind of go from go to it more often than not, the 3-4 look, who's gonna suffer?
I'd say potentially the linebackers, because again, like the 3-4, especially with the 5-05 with the ends out wider, it's a little bit weaker against the run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the linebackers will have to do a little bit more fighting with linemen than usual.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if they're up to that task.
I mean, the best way to defend the 3-4 is to run the ball.
Right.
Because they're lighter. You can have a bigger guy and run folks over if need be. because you got a smaller lineup out there in the 3-4 versus the 4-3.
Right,
And
you're
that's what you
basically
need now.
sacrificing beef for speed.
Yep.
Beefing up the pass rush, but you have less muscle in there to defend against the run.
But I'd refer back to that's a great point. But I'd refer back to the Chargers Ravens playoff game where the Chargers threw out there like what seven defensive backs and they were able to stop the
Right.
run. So like I
Yeah,
mean
but that's not fair because we
it's
knew what they were going
predictable.
to do every
Yeah,
week.
it's predictable. Yeah, I know. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
Lamar Jackson was super predictable.
I agree. I agree, but I'm just throwing it out there that it can be done, right? You can make those stops, and the Chargers
Right.
definitely did it.
Right, but I think like with the team, like if you watch the last three games, that's when Ron kind of took over the play calling. Against the Saints, he used a lot of multiple fronts, but in that Week 16 game against the Falcons that like to run the ball at us, we were still in our base defense most of that game. So I still think, maybe that's the route he goes next year. Just depends on who we play, and he'll adjust the personnel accordingly.
Which is the best way to go. I mean, I don't think we should I think we need a game plan. I think I mean, it's obvious, like, but I don't think we should just go out there with something and just stick with it. Um, so, but I definitely agree with that. We got a game plan and kind of out scheme somebody. When was the last time we done that?
Right.
Well, I mean, the first Saints game on Monday Night Football, man, that was fun. That defense was freaking awesome. I think if
Oh
Ted
yeah.
could have thrown the ball 15 yards, we would have won that game.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's
That
when we
defense
really
was
saw
solid.
Ron starting to use those different fronts that more often in that first Monday Night Saints game, which is probably why he said, let's make this more of a regular thing.
hmm Well, they were making moves too, like you said. I mean, you could argue maybe the post signing was part of it, but maybe they thought that he could do both, and they saw that 4-3 ain't gonna work for Poe at all. Not in that scheme at least.
yeah, I don't think Poe is going anywhere. I'm slightly concerned about Poe. Um, I don't know, man. So I guess out of his going back to Poe a little bit, out of his I know you've probably seen a good majority of his reps. I know while probably going through this video. Do you think that's? I mean, do you really think he's gonna have a better year this year with the scheme change, or do you just think it's kind of he needs to get comfortable? Like, what are your thoughts around Poe?
Yeah, I mean, if you watch him first half of the season, he struggled a lot, but he got better towards the end of the year. So I think it's just hoping that he can continue to pick up where he left off as the season came to an end. I mean, the thing with Poe, you can't deny for his size, he's a freak of an athlete.
For
He
sure.
has all the tools to be successful. So it's got to be It's got to be effort. The only thing I could think of. I just think we need to light a fire under him. That's one of the reasons I was maybe thinking we would draft a defensive tackle to kind of light a fire under Poe and KK. Bring out that 2015 KK that we've been missing, and help bring out that Pro Bowl Poe from Kansas City. So, I mean, I think he has it in him. You see glimpses of it, but you just need to see it more consistently. And I think it has more to do with want to rather than he can't do it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case too, man. Because I'm still concerned about Poe, man. We got a nice little amount of money invested in him, but to your point, what Rivera said was that those two, and I know we're still gonna be playing a little bit of 4-3, but he said that Star and KK had the opportunity to build a chemistry, and so once they got a chance to build a chemistry together. Playing it inside, that's when KK got dominant. So I think there's some things they need to figure out on the inside as far as playing together. But I'm hoping we can get Pro Bowl Poe. Okay, we need that.
Right.
We need that back. I think especially if we're gonna be running out the 3-4. I think he's the key. Nose tackle got a lot of responsibility in the 3-4. So I think I'm hoping he can man up.
Right, but keeping in mind, Kyle Love, underrated.
True.
He had a hell of a season last year.
But
So
that
was an underrated re-signing there.
I agree. The only difference is we
Can't
got a
really
lot
give
of
him
money
so many
tied up in
reps,
Poe.
but
Yeah, we got a lot of money tied up in Poe. That's the biggest difference. If we're gonna do that, I'd rather just let him go. But I feel you. I feel you on the Poe. I mean on the love sign. He's very underrated. I 1000% agree. Um, so going. Let's move on. Let's talk about the rookies for a little bit. Brian Burns. I mean, we crucify Ron up here on this podcast because we don't think well, it's a fact that he doesn't tend to play rookies in a timely fashion and as quick as we want him to play them. So
right.
with Brian Burns and Miller, what are your expectations for them this year? Like, do you think I mean, I guess sack number or snaps? What are your expectations for these dudes? Should we pump the brakes a little bit on Burns, or should we jump out the window? What are you what are your thoughts on Burns and Miller?
Well, one thing I recommend, look at these elite defensive ends in their rookie years. So J.J. Watt, Jason Pierre-Paul, Khalil Mack. These guys, they only had like 4 or 5 sacks their rookie years. So in that sense, but the second year, they were all double digits. So I think you got to have you can be excited, but still have realistic expectations for what they're going to do this year. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I think Mario Addison and Bruce Irvin will be on the number 1 on the depth chart in mini camp in a few weeks. And on the first week of preseason, you're going to see Mario Addison and Bruce Irvin on the field primarily in the starting role. Then as the season progresses, you're going to start to see Burns and Miller and those guys increase their reps more and more and more. So I think I expect to hear that a lot from fans throughout the season. Why are we starting old Mario and Irvin? Why are they keeping Burns and Miller off the field? I mean, I expect that to happen, but that's just the nature of what Ron does. But
I mean, do you agree with it though?
I think Burns is going to be there week 1, man. I do.
Nah, no chance. No chance.
And the reason why is because Ron typically with defensive players plays them sooner than offensive players that he drafts early.
Man, Dante Withers saw the field if Cockrell didn't get hurt. No chance. No chance. No chance. Ron is not playing.
What about
you
Luke?
think Mario? I mean, is Burns today
Beeson got hurt.
better than Bruce Irvin? I mean,
Beeson
experience
did.
is an underrated key. He's not. I don't know. I kind of see both ways, but I think. I mean, he may not start get his name called out of the tunnel, but he'll still get a significant number of snaps, which is more important at the end of the day. But I think if I had to predict today, I think Bruce Irvin and Mario Addison would be the starting edges when we first get started.
Luke started day 1 outside, so I'm just addressing a chat cat comment. But Luke started day 1 at weak side. Or he started at outside linebacker, and then Beeson got hurt, and that's when he moved in and became the GOAT. So it's different. It's not quite the same.
But the thing is, they played him. Just like he played Star. So he's gonna play him.
Yeah.
But those were like obvious holes. Like, he's not gonna do it here. Like, you can tell me all you want to tell me. He's not playing Burns week 1 as a starter, and he won't get 50% of the snaps either. Like, it's gonna be a slow grind, fam. It's just what he does, and we know it, and shouldn't even get mad because this is what he does. So there's no point even wasting your breath trying to get mad or trying to explain it, because it's not happening.
I mean, that Bruce Irvin signing should have told you everything you needed to know. I mean, when they took Bruce, he wants that veteran presence there just in case
Exactly.
Burns didn't picking up the playbook, or he just wants more comfortable with a vet. He got Bruce as something to fall back on.
Rivera will not play the best players period. I'm just addressing another comment. Rivera will not play the best players period because he sat DJ Moore forever. And DJ Moore was clearly a better player than what we had out there. So he's not gonna play the best players period. That's not the case. Spare me with that, bro.
Kelvin.
Come on, man. Do we gotta go back there? Do we gotta go back? Do we gotta go back to Kelvin? But so back to Burns and Miller. So my concern is this. So we know Burns has a light lower body. I know Jeremy from Carolina Huddle said he went out there and saw him, and he's concerned about both Miller and Burns in a 4-3 because they lined up as defensive ends in a 4-3, and they just said it didn't look the part. So my concern is that we um, do you think we become predictable with Burns and Miller Burns or Miller, either or, out on the field early because we know they may not put the hand in the dirt?
I expect them both to. I expect both of them to play in both fronts. I mean, they did in college pretty effectively, especially Christian Miller. I mean, he's very strong despite what his frame may look like. I mean, he took on guards and tackles. I mean, stopped them in their tracks. Set the edge pretty well. Burns, I think he's an underrated run defender as well. I mean, he does get pushed around a little bit, but he does his job. He contains the edge, forces plays back inside. I just think at Florida State, I mean, the team just fell apart.
Oh, tell me about it.
Senior year.
I'm a Florida State fan.
There was just,
yeah, I'm a Florida State fan, so I know all about Willie Taggart and his trash self. But so I agree. The team around him was garbage, and Willie Taggart can't coach. But that's a whole nother topic. But I agree. Burns. I'm still concerned about Burns though, because I think he's a little light. He's a little light.
Right.
Playing the defensive end. I just don't know if he has the strength. And he's got time. He's got plenty of time. But I just don't know if he has the strength to get up in there and really be effective. Not just get out there and play it, but be effective at it. I know he's got some vicious. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you look at his body, he has a lot of the frame. He can put a lot of muscle on that frame. And I think where he could do it is calves, legs, just get that stronger lower body. And that'll help him be more effective in setting the edge and defending the run. I mean, it may not happen this year. So because of that, he might be a more situational pass rusher, whereas, Bruce Irvin will get the bulk of the snaps. But, but he'll get there, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what, and you kind of said exactly what I said when we drafted Burns. I said, hey, all I'm expecting out of this dude this year is 4 to 6 sacks max, and that's me. I'm a realist. I like to make some crazy predictions sometimes, but for this dude, 4 to 6 sacks. If you give me that, I'm gonna be happy. But I expected like exactly what you said. That year 2, he got to come out and beast year 2. But Christian Miller, I don't know about Miller. I think he's got some development to do, and he's coming off injury. I know they're taking it slow with the hamstring, so I don't know if he touches the field as much as I like to this year. But I'm excited for him long term. I think he's going to be a problem. His measurables are insane. So I really do like Christian Miller. That's a great pick, really good pick, and I hope he stays healthy because I know he's got the injury issues.
Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, he'll be a special teams contributor. Get his feet wet there. And maybe towards the middle of the late season, I mean, Mario and Bruce are getting up there in age. Somebody gets hurt, he's next man up. So I think he'll find his way on the field at some point during the year. You got to remember, Mario and Bruce Irvin next year are both free agents.
Right.
So I mean, you got to get Miller and Burns on the field now because they got to be ready to step in next year, possibly as starters.
I 1,000% agree there. You got to play them, get them some experience, and then year 2, unleash them. But Dave, you got any other thoughts, questions, concerns?
Nah, I'm good, man. This was great. This is good stuff. Appreciate you coming, Will.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, this is great. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe. Definitely give him a subscribe. I need all y'all to go subscribe to his channel. Put out great content, especially with the X's and O's. It's good. It's good stuff. Especially for me, I'm still learning. I'm still learning the intricacies of the game. So I'm getting there, and your videos are helping. So I appreciate it. Hopefully you get a couple subs from us.
Hey, chat.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. Y'all got any questions for this for Will?
I can open. Hold on. We open the phone line. If you want to hang out for a couple more minutes, we usually close down by 10. But I'm gonna open up the phone lines. Just give me 1 second. Yeah.
Okay.
If you 1 second. So I'm gonna open up the phone lines if y'all want to ask a couple questions. Call in. We'll take a couple. I don't want to take up too much of my man's time. But we'll give him a couple minutes to call in. If nobody call in, we'll shut it down. I'm pretty sure somebody will, because we always have at least one. I'm talking to you, Noli.
The real MVP, man.
Yeah, I will. So you got a couple subs coming in. They're saying they subbed up to you, so hopefully you see those coming in.
Okay, thanks.
So somebody asked, do you think the whole draft class will make the 53-man roster? I say no chance.
I think they are.
No chance.
I think they are.
That 6 receiver spot
Yep.
is going to be competitive.
I think they're going to keep 6 so they can get Godwin in there.
Nah, Give me Ross. Godwin on the practice squad. Give me Ross.
I heard he was impressive during minicamp too.
Man, that's minicamp. Ain't no pads on. I said Kyle Allen was impressive too. You won't believe that?
Look, man, he got a spot. He gonna get a spot.
Nah, I don't think
they're gonna roll with 3 quarterbacks. They're gonna have to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with that. But I don't think Godwin makes it right. I think he makes a practice squad. He's gonna take the Damiere Byrd route. All right, 704. What's good?
How y'all doing this Noli?
Noli, what's going on, man? Told you we have one.
Not much. I can just ask a question.
Go ahead. Yeah, shoot. Go ahead. Anything you want.
Pretty much. Okay, so with all this hybrid stuff coming up, basically, I just want to know. My question is, how much more or less do you think of blitzing we'll have to do? Because obviously we addressed the pass rush so that we can get more effective athletes out on the edge that can get to the quarterback. But is the blitzing going to be dictated whether we're in the 40 front or the 30 front? And just want to know overall, do you think we're going to blitz more or blitz less, or is it just going to depend on how our players play? Because over the past couple of years, I feel like, especially that Wilkes year, we blitzed a lot because we just could not get to the quarterback. So obviously players are going to dictate it, but do you think the scheme will also dictate that as well?
Well, if you remember McDermott, he was big on front 4 pressure, keep 7 in coverage. Yeah. Ron Rivera, though, his scheme, he's always been an attacking blitz guy, even back in his days in Chicago and San Diego. So I think you're going to see a lot of different exotic blitzes. Try to keep 6 guys in coverage and then bring pressure from different angles and be unpredictable with it. So I still think, just on Ron Rivera's nature and who he learned defense from, I think you're still going to see a lot of creative and exotic blitzes coming from him.
So you think it'll be a mix between Wilkes and McDermott? Because Wilkes was on the high end of it and McDermott was on the low end, like you said.
Yeah, somewhere in between, more towards, I'd probably say 60-40 if I were to take a wild guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make sense, yeah. All right, appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Noli.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Yep. The other 704 number. What's up?
Hello?
Yep.
Hey, what's going on? This is Kevin Avery of the 4-Man Rush. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Nothing. I had to come and show my boy Will Harris some support. Did a great job tonight. I started following you guys last year, and I really appreciate y'all's show.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, I did have a question, though. Wanted to ask. I know this is something that we discuss a lot in the 4-Man Rush. I just kind of want to throw it out to you fellas. a lot of people asking, about the everything with the safety look, and like the whole thing with the safeties is like they got to play both the run and the pass. So I know everybody gets fixated in on quote free safety, more of a ball hawk type, but with Rivera, it's got to be like interchangeable. So do you think that with the roster slot left, a guy like Eric Berry or Trey Boston would fit, or should, like you said, we invest a third in Golden? Do you think that with his athleticism, if he could cover the ball hawking part?
I think you gotta let Golden get out there and try. Let's see what, because I mean you brought up a great point. Like we're in this era now where defensive period you got to be able to do it all, right? So we got to get in this thing kind of similar to Zion Williamson, for instance, per se. Like the dude, he doesn't have a position. Like we're in this era now where guys don't necessarily have a position. We are sticking guys in boxes. I said the same things with Christian McCaffrey. We want to stick him in a box, call him a running back, but he's so much more. I mean, and it goes to defense as well. I think you got to be versatile. You got to be able to do both. And we can't just label a dude and say he plays free safety and he can't do anything else. And I think Golden can play. I think he can do both. Obviously, I think he has a better strong safety skill set. But that doesn't mean he is. I don't know if that he has the range to be a 100% free safety. But if he's doing both, I think he could be successful. And I just think he needs reps. I'm a guy that always wants to play the young guys in certain positions. I will say that I was avidly against playing rookies at left tackle, but I'll give it a go this year with Greg Little. I'm okay with it this year because I don't want to play Matt Khalil. But at the end of the day, guys need to play. Yeah, the guys need to play, and you got to give them an opportunity. So give him an opportunity to play, and if he fails, it's a third round pick, and there's two guys out there, like you said, Trey Boston, who played great. He played great with the Chargers. He had a nice year. I mean, we just kind of get stuck into what he did with us. I mean, players don't get better. I don't know. I think Trey would be fine. I think Barry, you invest a little bit of money into him. Don't go crazy, and hopefully you get a great return. But at the end of the day, let Golden play. That's my opinion. Let Golden get out there and get an opportunity. And if he fails, and we go get somebody else.
Right. I definitely think that, give him an opportunity. Another thing for you guys to keep in mind was one of our future contracts we signed, Quinn Blandon out of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Will, he follows Virginia. He gave us a lot of insight about him. I mean, this guy is second behind Luke Kuechly in ACC history and tackles from the safety position. So he might be somebody that we need to keep an eye on as well to play that other safety spot.
Good point. Great point. Dave, you want to touch that one?
That's a good point. No, I'm good. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean, we still got 2 roster spots. I mean, still possible. They sign a safety before they take the field for camp. So
I'm a type of guy that I don't think the position's that important.
I agree.
I just think you need to have somebody that's competent there. You don't need to have the superstar there. And I feel like with Eric Reed already being there is enough. You
think that position not important to that guy run that 9 route with a 4.340.
Exactly. It's all good. It's all good until somebody get burnt. Well, I 100% agree.
They can run a 4.3 backwards.
Because if y'all look at the New Orleans game last year, Will brought it up when he did the film breakdown. The only negative play was when Golden was playing free safety, and the dude just ran by both him and Dante Jackson. Luckily, the pass didn't go off, but he clearly had them beat for like an open touchdown. So it's just one of those things that it was his only bad play, but had it been hit on, it would have been a big play, So it's just one of the things that, we hope that he got better on from year 1 to year 2,
Yeah. I think he'll get better. I think he'll get. He has the attitude. He got that chip too. He's got a little chip to him. A little bit perturbed that we are underrating his skills. So we'll see. We'll see how he comes out. But I agree. Let's give him a
Just gotta
shot.
be better than Colin Jones, guys. That's all he has to do.
Be better than Colin. That's a fact.
Hey, but Colin Jones ran a 4.3 though, right?
Exactly. That's a good point. I say that every time. Every time he got, I never forget. I never forget when he got burnt by Dante Jackson. When Dante was with the Redskins, and he got burnt.
Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson. Excuse me, Deshaun Jackson. He burnt them big time. I never forget that because he ran a quote 4.3. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I will say this in Colin Jones' defense. Y'all remember 2017 when he played the big nickel against Green Bay and Minnesota? Like, when he was playing that, kind of like linebacker, DB role, he did really well. Like I say, close to the line of scrimmage, that 4.3 came in handy, but putting him in deep coverage, nah, you know?
Nah, it ain't it. He got destroyed. But I don't know. It is. All right, man. I got a couple more calls to get to. I appreciate your call, bro. Yep. 919. What's good?
Hey guys,
665. Maurice, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Listen, I got a couple things. Number one, Ken Norton Jr. Isn't he still on our practice squad?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think so.
I thought he was.
Nah, I don't think so. I'll double check that.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins took him from him.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins got him. You're absolutely right.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't think he's on the roster anymore.
Okay. Getting back to that conversation that you just had about Gaulden, I personally think that Elder was supposed to be our nickel, and I think that we let a certain person go that came over from the Vikings, and Elder was supposed to slide into his slot, but I think personally that Gaulden should go there, and that was his natural slot in college, and I think Dante Jackson is our free safety. So I think we ought to play chess, not checkers. And I think Cockrell should go in Dante Jackson's slot. And I think that is our defense this year.
Will, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Well, if you watch some of the games last year when teams go double tight ends, they do put Dante Jackson at free safety. Because if you have two tight ends, what's the point of having Eric Reed as a single high safety with Dante Jackson mismatched with, just throwing an example out there, Travis Kelce? So they do kind of move the pieces around like chess pieces like that, especially when teams try to, put bigger tight ends on Dante or play those heavy formations. They'll move, just say, okay, Dante, you'll go free safety. Now we'll bring our safety down in the box to play corner and cover. So, yeah, Dante has played some reps at safety last year, believe it or not.
Yeah, I remember a couple of those plays.
He's got the speed to go side to side.
Dave, what's your thoughts? Anything?
Nah, I don't think it's that important.
he don't care about safety, man. Dave don't give a shit who you put. He don't care who you put back there.
I know. Dave used to say whenever we was looking at Dante that Dante was a little light. He still is light as far as his size, but
he is.
He can strengthen. He can get bigger.
But I'd rather have him at corner.
Lose a lot of quickness. Yeah, preferably at corner, but we really need a free safety, and I think Dante. We got Cockrell,
Cockrell coming off injury though. You can't bank on Cockrell.
Yeah.
That's a broken.
Right.
Like he broke his whole leg, fam. Like you can't.
Give him some time.
Time running out, my G. It take a lot of time to rehab a whole broken leg. You ever broke your leg before?
Ass is on the roster, Sean.
Oh no!
absent on
Don't
the
give me the
roster.
Gettleman. I don't need the Gettleman right now. I don't need the Gettleman right now, man.
Hey, Dave, I didn't say hog molly, so.
No, there you go.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Touche.
All right, I got one more.
I don't think he's singing them anymore at this point.
I got one more call to get to. Then we got to shut this thing down. Appreciate your call, bro.
Guys, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
The other 910. What's good?
Hey, what up, fellas? It's Jared.
Jared, what's good, brother?
Nothing much, fellas. Nothing much. I was gonna call and talk about Dante playing free safety, but I'm gonna change my question up. I know that it's gonna take a heavier rotation in the 3-4 defense as far as the 3-4 DEs go. Are there any free agents that you're eyeing for that position, Will?
Yeah, we brought up Alan Bailey. He played 3-4 DN for the Chiefs. So he was the one that was eating up the blocks to let D Ford and Justin Houston get after the quarterback. And I know we talked to him in April. I don't know if those talks went anywhere. And I know Herney on the radio had said that that 5 technique or 3-4 defensive end is the area where they want to attack in free agency after the draft. So I would think that's a real possibility of a guy that could possibly get signed. That's out
You
there
think
right
it's a
now.
post-June?
Yeah, he did mention that when that Matt Khalil money comes in, that'll be something we'll invest in Bailey, and I could absolutely see that because we'll be sitting around 14. Well, no, that's not true because the rookies got to get signed. So I don't know what the number will be at that
We
point.
only got 2 rookies left to sign, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what their number. Usually it's like 6-7 million, but I'm not sure.
Yep.
I'm not sure what our number will be after that. And I don't know what he's looking. I think obviously he's holding out. Bailey is holding out for the right number. Obviously, injuries happen in training camp. You never know. So he's waiting for the right number. And
Is
I don't
that the
blame
only
him.
person that we could be eyeing right now?
I personally think it's the only logical one since we already met with him. I don't know of anybody else off the top of my head that we're looking at that would be an immediate impact guy. I think Bailey would be an immediate impact guy. I just don't. Anybody else you're looking at, you kind of you don't know what you're gonna get.
Anybody else, I don't know if you're going to get anything worth picking up.
And then the longer he waits,
One and done.
the longer he waits, that number is gonna keep going down. So we might both be playing chicken with the contract number. So I think it'll eventually get done, and I think he brought up a great point about the rotation. Definitely need some guys. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there.
And one last question: do you guys feel that Shaq Thompson is too small to play inside linebacker in a 3-4?
No.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question.
I think he barely scraped 6 foot.
I think he could play inside.
Will, you think he could play inside based on his size?
I think in today's game it's not as big a deal because, who the Rams have there? Mark Barron. He's a converted safety from Alabama.
Yeah.
He did just fine. So I think in today's game with the league just becoming more of a passing league, I think he can play that position. Like if it was the 90s or early 2000s where teams will just line up that fullback and run right down your throat, maybe he'd be a little undersized, but I think in today's game he'll be fine.
It's a great point.
All right, great. All right, thank you, fellas.
Yep.
All right, man.
All right, I think that's going to do it. Will, once again, I appreciate you and your team coming through, showing support. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you're welcome. And it was great. This was fun. Learned a lot. Hopefully we can do it again at some point.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
All right, man.
Fun times, man.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Yep. All right, Dave. That's the show, bro. Great show. I enjoyed it. Learned a lot. Hopefully y'all learned something. What we gonna do next week, Dave? We didn't even talk mini camp. We didn't talk none of that stuff.
That means we got a lot of material for next week.
All right, I agree. I wasn't gonna get to it right now. Trust me, I wasn't.
We got stuff for next week.
Yeah, they killing Boston in the chat. They killing Trey Boston.
They don't want him, man. But I tell you what, y'all gonna love him Once he gets a couple picks, if he comes in our squad, yeah, I'm like, man, Boston wasn't this good the last time we
Y'all
was here. I was
sleeping
like,
on
that
Trey,
pass rush
man.
looks really good. That pass rush looks good, don't it?
Y'all sleeping on Trey.
If he gets like 8 picks, y'all ain't gonna give him credit. Y'all gonna say it was the pass rush, and I'm gonna be like,
Told you.
It doesn't matter who's back there.
Exactly. That pass rush makes a lot of dudes look good.
It makes folks. It turns bums into all pros.
That's a fact. How many safeties did we get paid?
Got paid?
How many safeties
Mike
did we
Mitchell
get
got
paid?
paid. Kurt
How
Coleman got paid.
How many trash safeties did we get paid?
A lot.
Because of a very good pass rush.
Coleman and Mike Mitchell definitely got paid.
Coleman got paid for sure, and look where he at now.
Mitchell got like what, $5 million a year or something like that.
Coleman is a free agent right now. We could bring him back too. Y'all want him back?
Bring him back. Nobody wants him back though. Nobody wants him
Coleman
back.
is out there. He's a free agent. Trey didn't get paid that much. But Mike Mitchell got paid, and I think he's available too, if I'm not mistaken. Or I think Mike might have signed somewhere.
Yeah, but Mike got the bank with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Mike got paid. We got some dudes paid, man. So y'all relax with the safeties, man. Let Golden live, man. He gonna be fine. Golden will be fine. Golden will be fine. All right, Dave. You got anything else, bro?
Nah, I'm good, man. I'm about to get ready to get this bed action. I've been up since 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It's time.
It is time. All right, man. That being said,
thank you for listening to the Panther Nation podcast hosted by Rashad and David. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and our YouTube channel at Panther Nation Podcast. You can also like our Facebook page at Panther Nation Podcast. While you're at it, follow us on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. And always remember, keep pounding.
yo, peace out, people. We'll see y'all next week. Talk about some other stuff. I don't know what we're gonna talk about just yet, but just hang in there, and we will talk about something.
Don't worry, there'll be some news that we're gonna have a field day with.
A field day, Dave?
Yeah, man. Like Cam out here with his comments. We could have talked about that today, but we wanted to focus on the defense today.
Yeah, defense today. Yeah, we can focus on the offense next week.
We could do that.
Is there anything to talk about other than Greg Little? It's pretty much the same. Noah about to go to work.
We got some comments from Mr. Cameron. There were some things.
CMC 2K.
There's some things. Shout out to the class of 2009 at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
2009, 2019.
19. You know I can't.
Damn,
I
Dave.
can't talk after time.
Throwback. They about to have a reunion. They about to have a 10-year reunion. You shouting out them for the 10-year reunion?
Sure. I mean, I shouted out myself for the 15-year. But seriously, though, shout out to the folks that graduated over the weekend.
For sure. All colleges.
All colleges. And the ones that are going to be graduating within the next week or two.
All right, man.
Because now it starts now, especially when you start paying that school loan debt.
Facts. All right. Peace out. Thank y'all for watching.